This is called A Long Time Ago. When men still knew the language of birds, and tigers still smoked tobacco in clay pipes, and the people of Estonia were without bathtubs, and the rivers ran green and the mountains absinthe, and pine forest grew where the ocean now abides, and owl ruled the birds, and mole ruled the tunnels, and the kingdom was only a village, and the village was only a well without a wall, for it ran quite shallow. When time was neither now or then or here beside us, and the magpie was a hetman, and a bear had a long tail, and rams spoke philosophy long before their horns, and lantern bugs recited poetry, their voices still intact, and the Savior still walked this earth among men, and our neighbors' tents were raised a field closer to us, and seeds still fell with the rain, and petals with the snow, and sky had departed so the spirits might move, when wishing still helped, the world unfinished, and the gardens of Tartary did not bear weeds, and a thing like remembrance was never needed, and dragons bore softer skin, which shined like velvet, and some nations already lay dead, and others had yet to be born, and others sprouted wild perfume, and stones could still float, and stars fumed red, and the three-legged stool still had 3 legs. Once there was, and twice there wasn't, and of all times together, I've heard them told once or twice. Times together, there was, and yet there was not, for all times go by, but once they did not, and the sea foam stood still, and mother's hair stood still, and all stood still, for there was no downhills, and there was no sound, because what you can eat cannot be heard, what can move cannot be the heart, and the hearts were still, and a mouse did run, and what was once is now, and they all lived, and some died happy, and if they didn't, it's really none of our business, and yes, it's all true, and if it isn't, it should be.
Yeah.